Good morning, everyone. For this day's devotion, our text is based on the book of First Peter, chapter 1, verses 6 to 7. The text says, "So be truly glad. There is wonderful joy ahead, even though you must endure many trials for a little while. These trials will show you that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold, though your faith is far more precious than mere gold. So when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world." When I was a lot younger, I didn't know the difference between synthetic and genuine leather. Back then, most of my black shoes were made of synthetic leather, for they were much cheaper and yet looked as if they were made of genuine leather. Eventually, I understood that synthetic materials, though may look and feel the same as the genuine, are products of synthesized components which involve different processes and ingredients to produce alternatives for what is genuine. Even until now, to me, the synthetic is still hard to differentiate from the authentic, since it contains details which look genuine. We only come to know what is synthetic until we scrutinize objects by looking at characteristics beyond what can be seen on their surface. Generally speaking, what is genuine comes from organic materials as it is a product of natural processes. On the other hand, the synthetic materials are made to appear genuine with the advantage of foregoing the natural processes that genuine objects went through. Because of this, people value what is genuine more highly than what is synthetic. There is something about genuine objects that make them feel more luxurious through their authentic status. In this world, our faith is tested and will be revealed for what it is, whether it is genuine or synthetic. If faith is not genuine, can it be synthetic? In my point of view, yes, it can be synthetic. Synthetic faith at first appears to be genuine because it has the components which are religiously symbolic but are only put together and arranged to look natural. Yet this faith, though it closely resembles what is genuine, will be found out for what it is when examined through tests that expose its authenticity. From the text, faith is revealed to be genuine through these general principles. Point number one: genuine faith endures trials by an ongoing relationship with God. Christians live in the same situation where unbelievers are, and they face the same degree of trials. They are not exempted from pain and suffering that are necessary to prove and enhance our faith. What is unique in the Christian faith is that there is a God who is central in the believer's interpretation of what is going on with their lives. Our expectation is influenced with the notion of God being involved in our situations. Once we encounter things that seem to deviate from our expectations of how God ought to spare us from troubles, our tendency is to question either the character of God or the validity of our faith. We ask ourselves, have I ever trusted God with something instead of getting a sweet and comforting outcome? The situation went sour. There are times when we can withstand this kind of situation, but it becomes harder to neglect a rethinking of faith when such situation becomes repetitive. Some people cannot endure what they think is inconsistent with their faith in God, such as experiencing situations which God could have made better. The reality which defies what they affirm through their faith makes it harder for them to believe. G.K. Chesterton once wrote, "When belief in God becomes difficult, the tendency is to turn away from Him." The point of faith is to endure the inconsistencies of life, not by dismissing those inconsistencies, but by having such inconsistencies to reveal the quality of our personal relationship with God. Faith that endures stands devoted to God despite God's refusal to act according to our expectations. Our expectations are immediately accessible to us, but it doesn't mean that those expectations are solidly grounded. Genuine faith can respond to the wrong-headed premises that cannot withstand questions which seek meaning out of experiences. Faith is prone to adjustments and it thrives only with a living interaction with God who builds our devotion to Him despite our experiences. Faith endures not by being bound with mechanisms and formulas to temper our situations in our own favor. Faith is alive when we choose God's leading, which counterbalances the temptation of giving up. And such temptation comes from the surrounding that hinders us to be faithful. Point number 2, genuine faith expresses its pure form by undergoing a refining process. The text implies that heat is needed to remove impurities in gold. It also means that gold, before being marketed in its final form, ought to be separated from contaminants that affect its appearance. The process involved in refining gold is essential for gold to be assessed with its value. In modern day process, gold needs to be submerged in chemicals to dissolve contaminants. Why is it that gold is considered as one of the sought after metals? Gold is valued because among metals, it is the most resistant to corrosion. It remains as it is through a significant length of time without having its quality diminished. The refining process of faith allows the impure, non-essential, and non-valuable elements which hide within our lives to be exposed and separated. What stays as the genuine quality of faith is sought after not only by those who want to mature in their spiritual lives, but also by God. The refining process allows us to have the form of faith that is freed from all the interferences of impurities. Genuine faith that undergoes a refining process shines on its own. How do we translate the refining process in our lives? They are the unavoidable situations that stretch us to our limits and leave us paralyzed and undone. Such situations devour all that we have and make us feel uncentered. However, faith survives because it is in those circumstances that faith keeps us undestroyed and moving on with hope. Point number 3. Genuine faith orients its beholders to a commendable life journey. The value of faith is assessed not by its beholders, but by the one to whom it is directed to. The final transaction of genuine faith is not merely between persons to persons, but persons to God. God judges the value of our faith, and it is our faith which helps us to persevere to the end. As believers who see that faith affects the outcome of our journey, we want to finish the race that we are in with a conclusion that is worthy of God's commendation. Faith does not give us a spirit of avoiding the spectrum of human experiences, rather embracing them with the confidence that God is with us along the way. The God who leads our faith is the God whom we are answerable to. He abides in us so that we can pick up the path that directs us towards His plan. As we end this devotion, let us ask ourselves, how is my faith today? Am I experiencing trials right now? What do my trials reveal to me about my devotion to God? May God's words be with us and continue to speak to us throughout the day. Amen.